Yeah. But Jon Jones doesn't want to do that. He wants to go off and do other things with his life. He wants to go off and become an actor, and he wants to have maybe a couple more fights and then go off into the sunshine on the back of an absolutely glittering career. Unbelievable stuff. But he's got to fight Tom Aspinall. That's just a fact. And if he wants 6 months, I don't understand that. Because training camps don't take 6 months. Typically, a training camp is 2 months long. Or sometimes people do a pre-camp. Now, a pre-camp usually is when a fighter's let themselves get really out.
50-plus pound frame, his movement's fucking extraordinary. And that's something you have to deal with. Like, that is a crazy ability. Like, his ability to move, like the way he moves, is so much different than everybody else in the sport. Incredible stand-up, knocks guys out with one punch, black belt in jiu-jitsu, really good wrestler, his everything, and he's young.
So what's your prediction if it happens?
It's hard to bet against Jon. It's hard to bet against Jon. But Jon's not a real heavyweight. Yeah. Jon could make light heavyweight, 100%.
Well, you can't criticize Jon Jones' career. Maybe there's some stuff outside of the octagon, but that's not what we're talking about here today. And if you're a perfect human being and you've never made a mistake, then go ahead. Cast your first stone. I'm not sticking up for anybody. I'm not defending anybody. I'm just saying we're not talking about that. We're talking about what he's done inside the octagon, which is nothing short of sensational. On the flip side, so is what Tom Aspinall's done. That's why we all want to see this fight. So 6 months, that is...
From a lightning-fast wrecking machine on the rise to a legend who's ruled the game for over a decade, Tom Aspinall and Jon Jones aren't just two names in the heavyweight mix. They're the storm everyone's waiting to see collide. And with Jon Jones still out and the division hanging in suspense, the dream matchup between him and Tom Aspinall has fans and fighters buzzing like never before. Bisping's calling Tom the future. Joe Rogan and Derek are breaking down every angle on their podcast, going deep on what might happen if these two finally throw down. And let's just say, they're not holding back. In the podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience, right from the jump, Joe throws the big question on the table. What actually happens when Tom Aspinall fights Jon Jones? And more importantly, there's a real hope it'll happen. And that hope feels more like a ticking clock than a fantasy.
Which Aspinall's one of the fastest heavyweights. He might be the fastest heavyweight in the history of the sport. I don't think anybody moves like that guy does. At a 250-plus pound frame, his movement's fucking extraordinary. And that's something you have to deal with. Like, that is a crazy ability. Like, his ability to move, like the way he moves.
Joe and Derek start pointing out just how absurdly athletic Tom really is. At 250-plus pounds, this guy moves like a welterweight. His explosiveness is rare, not just for his size, but for the division, period. They even float the idea that Aspinall might be the fastest heavyweight in UFC history. That's a wild claim, but when you watch him bouncing on his toes, darting in and out, it kind of makes sense. There's just no one at that weight class who moves like that. It's not just speed, it's fluidity, and it's terrifying to face.
Is so much different than everybody else in the sport. Incredible stand-up, knocks guys out with one punch, black belt in jiu-jitsu, really good wrestler, his everything, and he's young.
So what's your prediction if it happens?
It's hard to bet against Jon.
But what makes Tom so dangerous isn't just the movement, it's how complete he is. Joe runs down the list: clean striking, one-punch knockout power, a black belt in jiu-jitsu, solid wrestling, and to top it off, he's still in his prime. He's not a one-dimensional threat. He's not a guy you can just take down or wait out. If you're not ready from the first second, you might not even see the second round.
It's hard to bet against Jon, but Jon's not a real heavyweight. Yeah. Jon could make light heavyweight, 100%. He weighs 230 right now, maybe a little less than 230. There's no doubt in my mind that if Jon just changed his diet and went back, he hasn't put that much mass on that you would say 205 is out of reach.
No, it's fluffy weight.
Yeah.
A lot of it too.
Yeah.
Now enter Jon Jones, the wild card, the chess master, the GOAT in so many people's eyes. Joe Rogan doesn't hold back when he talks about Jon. He straight up says it's tough, really tough to bet against him. And honestly, can you blame him? This is a guy who's been dominating since he was practically a kid. A fighter who's made legends look ordinary and always seems to be playing 3 moves ahead. Even after all this time away, even with all the uncertainty around his recent activity, there's still that aura, that feeling that Jon Jones knows something the rest of us don't. But here's where things get even more intriguing. Physically, Jon isn't a true heavyweight, not in the way Aspinall is. Joe points out that Jon's walking around at about 230 pounds, and if he really wanted to, he could probably make 205 again without too much struggle. That's wild when you think about it. Jon's on the smaller end in a division full of giants. Now stack that up against Aspinall, who's sitting comfortably at 255 pounds of solid explosive muscle. That's a 25-pound difference. Not a small gap, especially when we're talking about two elite fighters at the very top of their game.
I mean, look, he had always had the reputation of fucking all the heavyweights up at Jackson Winklejohn. Always. Everybody said, like, when Brendan went down and trained with him, Brendan was a heavyweight, Brendan Schaub, he's like, he fucked me up. He goes, dude, I was like top 10 in the world as a heavyweight. I thought I was the shit. He fucked me up. He goes, he beat my ass. And he goes, he beat everybody else's ass too. All the other heavyweights, ragdoll dudes